Welcome back to the Indie Sooner. It's your boy JP, and I'm here live from Treys Bar and Grill with your boy Travis.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? I know. Luckily, we're slim thick, so we can both fit in the camera. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But absolutely good to have my guy join us down here, and still in the Midwest, but the southern parts of it. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. Looking forward to getting going.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. Crazy time to get down here. Thankfully we could. My family lives in Noble. My mom does. My sister, as most of you guys know, runs track at Oklahoma. She's a sophomore this year. And so, we were able to come down to the Iowa State game. Our buddy Tattoo Baker got me some tickets. And so I got to get in the game with him. And my mom took my wife and everything. And so it was just an amazing time. Trav and I got to meet up after the game. And Jamar Kane came up and was like, "Hey, I watch your guys' show all the time." And I was like, "What?" Like I was shocked. I was like, "You kidding me?"
Yeah, so we were having pizza after the game, and a lot of the recruits and coaches after the game, they've got to stay within a mile from campus, so they were all kicking it. They were all kicking it at the same pizza spot we were. So they start looking down, waving, whatnot, and then Chip calls me, and Jamar's standing next to him, and he's like, "Hey, Jamar says tap your buddy." I was like, "What?" Well, Tattoo was sitting next to me. JP was on the other side. He's like, "Never mind, he's coming down. He says something about a podcast." I was like, "What?" So he came down, said what's up. It was kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys and Jamar, you guys all get your info from the same spot. So, or at least your entertainment, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
We'll go with entertainment over info. So, but we do have a couple folks in the house that came to kick it. So, hey, man, Andrew, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I'm about to try the famous Theta Burger here in just a little bit. I'm gonna try it live and in person.
That's right.
On camera for y'all, so y'all can see how it tastes.
That's right.
And
yeah. And there's a bunch of Theta sauce. Jeremiah Hall, sent me a picture. There's a bunch of Theta sauce in the OU break room. I'll have to tweet that out. I was like, let's go. I was like, but it may not be a good sign. I'm like, man, why is there still some left? They've only gone through half a case. That's concerning. But what's up, Sean? But yeah, we'll dive right into it with you guys.
Yes, sir. So obviously, those of you who paid any attention, man, my graphic it messed up. That's okay. If you paid any attention, you know that Oklahoma beat Iowa State 28-21 this past weekend. It was a game, again, I got to see with my own eyes. I was there for. Travis was there for as well. He's actually on the field with a couple of recruits, big time in it and everything like that. So it was kind of fun for him to be down there. How was it from the field?
Man, I was just gorgeous. And it's interesting because, like, I was not recruited heavily as an athlete or anything like that. It was, it was just cool to be down there and seeing them, and especially with Gentry and RSJ and those guys, because they're talking. What was really cool is he goes, "Man, they start hitting in some of the pregame drills," and he was like, "Man, they didn't do this last time I was down here." He's like, "They look way different, and they are hitting in the warm-ups," and I'm wondering if that is a little bit different approach even in the preparation that the team's trying out, is trying to be a little more physical throughout the week, throughout warm-ups, everything like that. But it was a lot of fun, man. It was a gorgeous day. It was so nice out. So it was a lot of fun getting around, talking to a bunch of the recruits and their families and whatnot. And it was a lot of fun. So, but luckily, it was a great game too. So
yeah,
all that would have been for naught had it been a loss.
Yep. So look,
I'd have never gone on the field again. Well, I probably would have gone on the field again, but I'm superstitious. If we'd have lost that game, I'm like, well, I guess it's just not meant to be.
It's not meant to be. I mean, it worked out though. We didn't know that for a little bit. I mean, we had it in control for most of the game, but towards the end, obviously, it got a little testy. But we figured it out. If you didn't watch it because you were under a rock, the offense, it started out with a bang, right? 75-yard Caleb Williams touchdown run that we just kind of become accustomed to seeing. But after that, it just kind of sputtered. We had between the second and third quarter, we punted, I think, maybe 5 or 6 times. And then,
big punts. Like,
big punts. Though Michael Turk was a monster.
Turk's uncorking those things.
Man, and he probably should have been player of the game because the way he flipped field position really ended up helping us, to be honest. At the end of the half, right in front of where me and Tattoo were sitting, Key Lawrence comes up and Brock Purdy just makes one of his $1 million mistakes that he seems to make almost every game. And instead of throwing the ball away on 3rd and 21, he tries to tuck it in. Key Lawrence hits his helmet on the ball, goes bouncing, and then Jalen Redmond scored where we're now being dubbed the thick six.
The thick six.
The thick six. He was running. And if you guys haven't seen that video on Twitter where he's got the ball and he's running, and it's literally the Titanic music is just
well, you can't see that anymore because Parker had to take it down.
Oh, he did have to take it down.
Okay. He put out a tweet. So Tattoo and I messaged him and said that he should probably take it down because Tattoo's first account got clapped because he used a song. He hold on, sorry.
That's an important text. It's an important text. While Travis is doing this, let me also say that the OU crowd was very good at the game. I know that, I've heard that the crowd sometimes can be lulled to sleep, and I know it was an intense game, so they had to be there the entire time, but it was amazing. It was amazing how the crowd just really, really came out to play. I mean, they came out to support our guys. They came out to make sure everything was going well. They were loud, everything else. It just really is what you want to see. So at the end of the day, when we got there and when I was there live, it was a crazy atmosphere. And I think it really helped the boys, especially defense, who played lights out most of the game. It helped them kind of play probably one of their best games of the year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely, after that first series, you think to yourself, oh boy, it's going to be a long one. We've seen this script before, right? You get a long opening drive. They keep our offense off the field. That's kind of the way they're picking up third downs. We're giving up 3rd and 18. We're doing this, that, and the other. Well, the next, few drives, we came out hitting and hitting and hitting. I think the coaches, like I said, they brought a whole different mentality into this week, and the players brought a whole different mentality in this week, where it was, at times absurdly physical. Yep. And I was sitting with the recruits, man, when Perrion laid that lick on Brock Purdy, it was all the recruits. There was just a buzz. Everybody was going nuts. I had this mother in front of me, and she was, kind of just chilling the whole game so much. She just shot up, starts dancing, and her very, very large son was next to it. He's up dancing. It's that kind of stuff. The crowd was great. And then you look at things like USC. USC, we've competed with a couple of these guys. You look at their game 3 minutes before kickoff, it's empty.
Yep.
We often think of these stadiums and you see them on TV occasionally and things are going crazy. And a lot of times I look around and go, man, OU, man, we gotta step it up, man. We gotta get these, all these old people out of here. We gotta get some people that want to get up and jump and dance and and root on the team and scream and do all this. And then I'm sitting in it and I'm like, man, they really brought it this game. I think the crowd was fantastic. The atmosphere was fantastic. But it all starts. People can jump up and down on a big catch, big throw and whatnot, but nothing energizes a crowd like a big hit, like a big turn. I feel like defensive plays bring just so much more energy. And that's why even when Delarian Turner popped Purdy on that on that stop where they were about to pick up first down. Man, that was a hit. But it's a sad state of affairs in the current college football landscape when Perrion makes that hit and we all think, uh-oh, here comes the targeting. Here comes it's almost like you can't celebrate anymore. You can't celebrate because it might be taunting, but as a fan, you can't celebrate a big hit because you're waiting to see, okay, is there going to be a flag? Then when there's no flags, then we all go crazy. So it's actually it's a little frustrating because that's just the way of the world these days, where you can't go absolutely insane when a big hit happens because you got to temper your expectations. Yeah. But I was really impressed with the defense. I'll tell you what, having Woody Washington back, and I know a lot of you called me a sunshine pumper, and I'll wear the badge proudly. I call it optimistic, but regardless, that may be a synonym. But um, we're a different team when we got Woody Washington, on the edge. When we've got Jalen Redmond back, so Isaiah Thomas can be in his natural position. When we have Delarian Turner-Yell back, when we have these guys back, and especially Woody Washington on the outside, I mean, he takes away so much what people want to do. They can throw at him and try and test his injury and all this other stuff, but it didn't work out at all. I mean, he was even times he didn't look back at the ball. I mean, he's eye to eye with the guy, and he's hand fighting. He's doing everything he can. I mean, Woody is he's Sunshine Pumpers Unite. Hell yeah! So it's it's one of those that, like I said, the defense played great, and if it's a situation where the offense can stick to the run game, then I'm really excited about what our prospects are with Oklahoma State.
I agree completely. And again, when you look at the way the defense performed, I think all the talk, how many times did we talk about in the last couple of weeks? People were talking about Alex Grinch needs to go. This is not working out, especially before everything came back, or everybody came back, like Jalen Redmond, Woody Washington. All those talks are being had, and then when you get them back and you have performance like this, kind of a renaissance performance from the beginning of the year, then you're like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Anything else for the moment?
This is what happens during live shows. You eat a little bit. No, you're good, brother.
Thought he was in trouble.
No. Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
yeah, there was a car alarm going off. It's that's when you do live shows. That's what happens sometimes, man. We're the live raw show, man. We aren't all the bells and whistles and studios and the lighting, all this stuff. Like, no, we just bring it to you like it needs to be brought.
Yep.
So, absolutely. But I tell you what, like I said, I was very impressed with the defense. Offense, like I said, you just got to stick to the run. I think every week it kind of looks like they figure it out and then they get away from it. Like they figure it out and then they get away from it. I do think, we can say that Lincoln's getting pass happy, and I wouldn't agree with you on some things, but Caleb's got to get the ball out of his hand quicker. I mean, we're looking at the field, and Caleb is, man, just tapping that ball like he's trying to burp it, and I'm like, you got to let that thing fly. And I think I was talking with somebody about this earlier. So I think there's a certain level of confidence that was built at Texas when he came in. I mean, he's got nothing to lose, right? His team's down big. He's got to provide a spark. Well, he throws up a couple balls, and Marvin Mims comes down with incredible highlight reel catches. And I call them highlight reel catches because I saw them on lots of highlight reels. It's not a highlight reel catch if it's not on a highlight reel, and these were on plenty. So, but that's not sustainable as an offense. You can't always just say, all right, Marvin, go get it. I mean, it'll work a lot of the times, but not as much as checking down and whatnot. But I think Caleb, he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
He's a good football player. He's very instinctive. I think he's definitely going to get it put together because really that's the thing. And it's so weird to talk about. I mean, when's the last time we went into a Bedlam game and said, man, we'll just have to see what these offenses are about because these defenses, man, they're going to be tough to score on. I mean, I don't remember. I honestly do not remember the last time it happened. It would have to be, I don't know when. I mean, not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So, think Rattler need to come in? No. I think it's a. Here's the thing. I think it's a bad sign if he does come in.
Yeah.
Simply because we can say, and I've been guilty of it too. Sometimes Caleb throws a deep one, and I think, ooh, Spencer would have put that on the money because Spencer has a great arm. We can't ignore that Spencer is still one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It's just that Caleb was better. And the difference is that Caleb, you have to respect the run.
Yep.
So they could just tee off on Spencer because they weren't sure. They didn't care if he was going to get outside the pocket. They weren't going to hurt him with his legs.
That can't happen with
So, I mean,
at all.
Heck, Caleb's run for a touchdown was supposed to be a different play anyways.
Yeah.
I think they were setting up a bubble screen to the outside. Like, I think if we see Spencer, it's not a good thing. But I think that Caleb has the opportunity to get those open throws downfield. He's just not taking them because of his running ability.
Yeah.
So,
and I also wonder, Travis, if because even being at the game, like it's one thing to look at it.
Major had been out most of the week with the flu, Travis. A lot of the team was out with the flu. I heard some pretty high numbers. I actually was in town. I was in town trying to link up with Jeremiah for some NIL stuff we're working on, and he was like, "Dog, I got the flu." I was like, he goes, "A lot of us do," and I was like, "What do you mean, a lot of us?" So, anyways, that was big, but some recovered a little bit before, and honestly, that's why I think a lot of the offense was out of sync a little bit because we had a ton of people out with the flu that really missed out on a lot of stuff. I mean, so and again, that didn't me pumping sunshine and saying, "Oh, here's my excuse to why that didn't work." Like that's legitimate. It's a legitimate thing that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else, and especially this day and age, if you have the flu, you got to shut down the whole damn facility.
Yep.
Because this isn't This isn't Jordan flu game type situation where you go out and tough it out. This is hazmat suits and whatever. So it's not like back in the pre-COVID days, back in the olden days pre-COVID. So I dig in. I'll keep chatting now. So he's gonna keep eating. So I think with a couple of that morning flu game, you're saying about the flu. Yeah, a lot of guys with the flu, no doubt. I think that's what's interesting. We saw a lot of guys that didn't see the field very much. Danny Stutzman only got in on special teams. Shane Witter only got in on special teams. Yeah. Billy Bowman the same way. Grinch came out and said, "Man, these guys are going to be contributing in Bedlam. We have no intentions of holding them out of the game or anything like that." So, we both jump manned up right now.
Yeah, I know.
Got jump man. What's up? So, boys up to something.
The flu. Yeah, like you said, was really a kicker this week, and I wonder if that the offensive production would dip because of that. Obviously, we saw it at Baylor too. It was Caleb's first game in that type of territory, and so I think that's part of it too. But what I was saying is, being there live, like obviously you can look at a broadcast television and tell Caleb's holding the ball, but you don't know if people are open or not. Being there live, you're able to see if there's open people or not as well, right? Like you can see the whole thing. And there were sometimes, right? There were open guys sometimes. He just would miss them. And then he's standing in the pocket so long that's like, man, he's just got to be – his internal clock has to speed up. He's got to be quicker in making a decision whether to hit that guy or even if he messes up, not just standing there, either rolling out to the right or he can find somebody potentially open and his receivers breaking out or just running, using his God-given ability. And I think that's something that he's going to get better at. Again, he's only a true freshman. He's in his, fifth or sixth game. And so
he didn't play his senior year of high school either.
Not at all. And so, that's the other thing why I have the overreaction talk up now is because people want to talk about Lincoln Riley. Like, oh, my gosh, the offense, Lincoln's overrated, which is just stop.
I think we lead the Big 12 in scoring, do we not?
We do.
That's what's so funny.
And that's one offense in the Big 12.
And that's why it's so funny with kind of just how spoiled we are. And I've talked this, and I'm one of the spoiled ones too. We can talk about the offense. We're still the highest scoring offense in the Big 12, and people are like, oh man, this is just. And granted, we haven't played OSU yet, and they're the best defense in the Big 12. So that there's something to be said for some of the context given to that stat, but. It's something to be said where we're having, we're complaining about our offense being so bad, but it's still the best in the league that's known for offense. So
and it has two top 5 defenses in Iowa State and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, no, Baylor and Oklahoma State, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't Iowa State?
I thought it was Baylor.
Either way, they're all three good.
Anyways, it's a good thing that we're arguing about which one's the top 5. That means they're both pretty good. So
and Andrew, the burger's fire. It's fire. It's what everybody said it was. So
absolutely,
y'all come over to Treys and get yourself a burger.
Absolutely.
But no, we got to stop with the offensive and that's why, right? Like if Caleb doesn't make a decision to hit an open receiver, how is that on Lincoln? It's not, right? Like if he's getting guys open, the offense would flow so much smoother if he's hitting people, right? And I understand there's some play call you can say, could you run the ball more? maybe sure, right? Those things maybe can be talked about, but that doesn't make the guy not an offensive genius. Like I saw some of you saying on Twitter.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, you've got to. If you have, put it this way, if you have guys running wide open down the field, then the offensive genius tag stays. It's just as simple as that. Like the reason that we've always called Lincoln an offensive genius is because he can scheme guys open that otherwise wouldn't be open. He can just get them open by the scheme, and a lot of guys see it before the game. I was blessed enough to watch with my boy Dwight Dobbins. He's a big time trainer in the area. He does all the 7-on-7 stuff. Love Dwight. I was blessed enough to watch with him because he calls a ton of stuff before it happens. He trains all these defensive backs and all this kind of stuff. Like he just understands where it's going. So it's cool to watch a game live with him and just be like, oh man, that's crazy. You just called that. So it is pretty wild. So, but yeah, I think if people are running down the field, Lincoln can't make the guy throw the ball. He can't have his have a little buzzer in his pocket and say, all right, go. And it shocks his leg.
Yep. Lincoln can't make the offensive line run block better.
Lincoln can't bring in an offensive coordinator because there's not room on the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So we went over that last week.
Again, guys, like at the end of the day, there are little things more than it even is Lincoln struggling. There are little things that if the offensive line blocks better, if Caleb hits open receivers like earlier in stride, or just even some of those 5-6 yard gains that has the defense respect that, then it opens up the run game more. There's all these things work in unison, and Lincoln knows that. That's why he's the head ball coach of Oklahoma. That's why he's one of the greatest offensive minds that we've seen in the last 20 years, because he knows that. And once that starts to work together, that's why he says we're close. It's not because he's yanking your chain. It's because he says, yeah, we're close. If he sees this earlier and makes that throw, or if this literally one guard gets up to the second level on a run play and doesn't miss a block, or close to springing a 50-yarder.
Yeah, I think it's a situation. There's a lot of revisionist history when people talk about, for good and bad, to be honest. If I bring up Caleb's throws earlier, if Caleb gets picked against Texas instead of Marvin coming down with that incredible 50-50 ball, then we're all, man, I can't believe this guy's just in here chunking it downfield. This is the same issue we had with Spencer. Take the easy pass, blah, blah. But that didn't happen, and Marvin came down with it, right? So it's, oh, my man, this gutsy true freshman in here wheeling and dealing and getting the ball downfield to our deep ball threat. So the same thing goes for the Iowa State game. It's if Caleb doesn't hold on to the ball and he hits all these wide open receivers, we're thinking, man, Lincoln is just carving up. He's coaching circles around Matt Campbell. Yep. So there's a lot of revisionist history when it comes to this 2020 hindsight. It's just interesting to me because people will say, man, that's a dumb play. Why would somebody get it happens a lot with trick plays. With trick plays, they're like, if it doesn't work, they're like, man, Lincoln's getting too cute. He's getting too cute, man. Just line up and beat him. Well, then if it works, they're like, dude, this guy's a genius, man. I can't even believe he's dialing up all these creative. He's creative and innovative if it works. He's cute
if it
doesn't. So it's kind of interesting. So
one more.
He dropped his fry for that one. He really wanted to make a point.
That I talked about this all the time last year. You remember last year, or even sometimes this year, when people would be like, Lincoln, run the ball, right? And we say that all the time, run the ball. Okay. You remember last year where there'd be times where he does run the ball and it doesn't work, and people are like, why are you getting conservative?
Yeah. And
I'm like, I thought you just said you wanted him to run the ball.
Yeah,
like, what do we want? Yeah. And then when he's aggressive and it doesn't work,
hindsight's
run
2020.
Run the ball. So you guys gotta figure out what you want, right? If it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean it's on Lincoln, right? Doesn't mean it was necessarily a bad play call. Now, if you talk about going into a drive where he does 3 straight passes or something like that, maybe you could say, could he have ran it once or twice? And he would say that. He said that after the game last week. That he probably wish he would have run it more. It happens. He's not perfect, but y'all need to stop acting like you know more than him. Because you don't. I promise you.
Richard, I might have heard you. I was giving it to Matt Campbell all game. And it's awkward because I'm in there with the recruits, and you're not supposed to be a fan with the recruits, right? You're with a bunch of families who they aren't loyal to any school. They're trying to figure out if they want to go to that school. So when I'm sitting with like Tattoo and those guys over on the other side or sitting in my seats, like I can scream, yell, do whatever, just raucous, like, do the boomer and the Sooner chant, all that stuff. Well, it was funny because I'm sitting in there next to a bunch of people that don't have any reason to cheer for OU other than that's the visit they're on. So I'm having to luckily I was on kind of one of the sides. So, but I was, Matt Campbell, man, once he started complaining and doing this after Perrion hit Purdy and he was going for the taunting call, he's like, he did this, man, that should be a flag. Like, there was a bunch of people getting into him from the sideline. So that was a lot of fun. But Kendall, I feel you, man. This OSU defense, they're hyped. And one of the things that's important to understand about it is this is an old team. This is an experienced team. This is, I think their starters' average age is older than the Oklahoma City Thunder.
What?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Their starters are older than the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, they got 24. Yeah, they got 24. You keep in mind, like Gideon and all these guys are like 11 years old.
That's true.
So
it is.
so the Oklahoma City are very young, but that's what's crazy. It's when you get a team like this, they are men. They're mature. They're grown. It's an interesting situation. They already got that old man strength. That, and they've been in the system for a while, so it will be a great defense we play. Rodriguez not a bucket list was if he has any other logo on his helmet, if he has an Oklahoma logo on his helmet, if he has anything, if he has a Texas logo on his helmet, and they're dog trash, he would have been on that list.
Yeah,
I think it's a situation. Rand is just a hell of a coach, and he's always had Lincoln's number. But no, Oklahoma State's very well coached. Jim Knowles should win. I know Rodriguez isn't going to win the Buckus, but Jim Knowles should definitely win the Broyles Award, which is given to the nation's top assistant, the top coordinator, top assistant. So Lincoln Riley has one of those. So, he'd really just trying to be what Lincoln Riley is, So, but it'll be interesting to see if Gundy can lock him down because he had said he hopes to sign Knowles to a long-term deal to be in Oklahoma State. But, man.
Where was he at before?
I'm not sure. But I'd be hard-pressed to – I don't know. I'd be hard-pressed to sign a long-term deal as a coordinator once you're a Broyles Award winner. And I think he'll win the Broyles Award. I would have a very hard time. Imagine if Lincoln signed an 8-year deal to be an offensive coordinator or whatever, and he was locked in, couldn't be head coach. You know what I mean? If you are a Broyles Award winner as a coordinator,
you're probably gonna get a look.
You will get a look as a head coach. Unless it's a Venables type situation. And you just say you want to, coach, you don't want to be a head coach, So I think that'll be interesting to kind of see. Okay, is Knowles going to move along, or if he sticks around? It really won't matter for us because we're off to the SEC. So deuces to Mr. Knowles and his defense.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, and that's really what it's going to come down to, right? With Oklahoma State is it's going to be a defensive battle, which offense can take advantage of the defense's slip-ups. And obviously, Oklahoma State has had way less of those than Oklahoma, and so we have to hope that Oklahoma has a game plan that Lincoln Riley has some up his sleeve, ready to go this week. I'm sure he does. I think what I would do, what I'm sure they're already looking at, they got to get the ball out of kids' hands quicker. I don't think we're going to see a ton of shots, to be honest. Now, if we have early success on running downs, maybe like if we're just taking a 1, second and 2, second and 3, we'll probably take a shot or two. But other than that, I can imagine wide receiver screens or the RPO slant that we hit Jaden Hazelwood on that one time looked really good. I can see those two. What I wanted to get to this week, and I want to tell you guys that I've been tweeting out, is I think we might have a shot to do more damage against Oklahoma State's defense, believe it or not, as good as they are, than Baylor Iowa State. Baylor and Iowa State play a ton of zone. Um, Oklahoma State plays a little zone too, but they're very aggressive. They send blitzes all the time, and they send blitzes from the second level consistently. So with that, that's going to leave you vulnerable in areas. They're so experienced; they cover areas really good, and it doesn't look like a bust. Caleb Williams is so young. I'm sure Jim knows is banking on him not being able to figure that out. So again, Lincoln's going to have to literally scheme up against that, whether that's running away from the pressure, whether that's again wide receiver screen, getting the ball out of his hand, RPO, quarterback run, whatever, right? Some stuff we saw with Jalen Hurts, because this is Noel's second or third year.
Yeah, at least.
Right. So it's not like we haven't played him before. We played him last year, whoop him right in Norman. We played him the year before, whooped him in Stillwater. Okay, so like again, as good as they are, they're not invincible, and we can't look at them that way. Otherwise, we're just going to be like, oh, because at the end of the day, like we're still Oklahoma, dog. Come on.
Well, it's also Gundy. Gundy has a mental block when it comes to Lincoln Riley, certainly.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma in general. I mean, the guys 2-14 against us. The one year in 2011 they won. They were obviously the best. They were the better team.
Yeah.
2014, we shouldn't have repunt to Tyreek Hill. They actually that punt went to the wrong side of the field. They tried to punt to the other side of the field. He didn't punt it to the correct side that they called. But it's a situation where, I mean, Gundy's had the higher ranked team. I think this is the 6th time that he's had the higher ranked team, and he's 1-4 in the previous 5 games that he's had the higher ranked team. So it's not a situation where he's just, now he's got the higher ranked team. He knows he's got the upper hand. He's the favorite. I'm going to go ahead and, bulldoze these guys. The dude's 1-4 against us as a head coach with a higher ranked team.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't spell what a lot of my cowboy brethren that come into my restaurants are telling me is, oh man, there's a different OSU team, man. We locked in. I'm like, really? Better than some of the other teams I've seen? I don't know. I don't think this one. That ain't better than.
Certainly not.
No, exactly. Not with Spencer Sanders.
I love this question, Richard. Yeah, I do, and we saw a ton of that against Iowa State this weekend, right? And that's the whole thing we were talking about last week, that Trav and Jake were talking about, Keegan was talking about. We sometimes, the offense, not too cute like we were talking about earlier, not cute necessarily, but the schemes are so elaborate that sometimes it just hurts you more than it helps you.
They're complicated. They're extremely complex. I mean, you're asking, and that's why, like, I forget who would use the term. It might have been Gabe or one of those guys. They have a lot of good things to say that you can learn a lot from them. But a Lincoln Riley offense with the GT counter and that pull that they do, it said the average center, in college football, they're asked to be, geniuses, like they're asked to be this, that, and the other to run the offense. But in a Lincoln Riley offense, they're asked to be like astronaut level brilliant. Like you're doing so much more from the center position. So luckily it sounds like Andrew Rame's a go this week. Sounds like he's going to play after hurting his ankle against Iowa State, which is a good thing. He's really turned it on as of late. But I do think he'll play a role in the game. I do think that you will see more zone run schemes than kind of trying to get too confident. That's what we did late in the game too. That led to a late touchdown run. So
all runs that entire thing. You watch the highlights.
Andrew Rame will be Rodney. Andrew Rame will be RAYM Rame.
When you watch the highlights, guys, and go to Mr. McIntosh. Love his stuff. Always have. Even before I got on OU Twitter, I always watch his stuff. Go watch his highlights. He would get up to the second level, or on that drive, we'd get up to the second level so much. And it's simple. They make it so simple, right? Like, Just go find the guy and use your athleticism. Use the God-given talent that you have because you're a 4 or 5-star playing at Oklahoma and you're better than the guy across from you, right? Make it simple. And they did. And Kennedy Brooks went off. And on that one drive where we had, 6 runs? We scored a touchdown, right? And that's why I think people are like, okay, are we going to see more run? I think you probably will see a little bit more run. Now, obviously, Oklahoma State does a really good job, okay? But at the end of the day, you're still saying, hey, even though you're grown men, at the end of the day, what we're going to do is say, hey, put a hat on a hat. Go get that guy, Kennedy. We trust you because you're about to be the 4th running back ever to rush for 3 separate 1,000-yard seasons. Make the right read, hit the hole, and go. Right, and let's go from there instead of, like you said, making it too complicated. Which this group has just proven not to be able to do that. Groups in the past could. This group has not been able to, or has not proven able to do that. So why make it more difficult than it needs to be?
I do think there's going to be a certain level of, I don't know. I think the mentality is going to shift a bit because of it being Oklahoma State. I don't think they feel the same way. I don't think the locker room feels the same way as like an Iowa State or a Baylor as they do Oklahoma State, especially that they have to listen to every pundit say Oklahoma State, this is the team that's going to come in there and push OU around, all this stuff. I mean, if they, to your point, if they go put a hat on a hat, we've got better athletes than OSU. I mean, there's no metric that would say otherwise.
Yep.
We and I don't know. I would take Lincoln over Mike Gundy every day of the week. And it's just a situation where if we put our best out there, there's nothing OSU can do to stop us.
Yep.
I mean, so I think if they carry that edge and that mentality, and a lot of, especially from the defense, if I get to see that defense and as heavy as they were hitting, that's important. By the way, for those of you that haven't seen it, man, Robert Spears Jennings tweeted out a video of his hit the other night when he was playing Union. Man, it was crazy. Yes, he should be playing. Yes, Theo should be playing. But he was going down. The quarterback for Union gets out. It's 3rd down. He goes to run up the sideline. I'm on the sideline. Me and Parker Thune are on the sideline, and we're watching. And the guy's about to run for it. RSJ comes out of nowhere and just shoulders, boom, and decleats the quarterback. And then on the next drive, that was 3rd down, remember? 3rd down, they punt. The next drive, like 50-yard touchdown pass to RSJ. Like, this dude's got it all, man. His ranking may not show it, but this kid's at least a 4-star in my mind. I mean, I've watched the kid play a bunch, and he's big. It's crazy because him and Jaden Rowe are big dudes. And once Jaden Rowe gets his hands on you, it was so funny. Jaden Rowe, he comes over. And RSJ goes, look, I tore his shirt. He's like, I tore his shirt on a play. He goes, yeah, well, I put you on the ground earlier. I mean, once Jaden gets his hands on you, he's a physical guy. And what's cool is when they're playing press, like, I hope he's like, all right, I want to play press at OU. Because, man, he gets there and he is right in his face. I mean, I think Jay Rowe could have told you what kind of gum the wide receiver was chewing. And maybe shared a couple chews. He was so close. So I'm really excited for those guys to get to Norman. It seems like we're getting a lot of big physical guys coming to Norman. I think that's going to allow Grinch to run his scheme even better because he's going to have those big physical players that he can trust on an island. And that's what Saban's been doing all these years, man. Saban was always the guy. I mean, and he would tell you. Saban would say, well, I've got better athletes than you at defensive back. I got NFL players out there. I'm just going to play man because you're not going to be able to beat my corners, and then I can sell out on the run. So that's why all those crazy Alabama teams were so good against the run because Alabama had these NFL corners, and Saban would just say, go for it, try and beat them. Yeah. No, not landing McClellan today was not a big loss. I hope he does fantastic at Florida, but No, it was not a big loss. We had moved off him. I don't think he put together a great senior. I watched him live. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got the body to do it. He just has to get his mentality right. Once he gets his mentality right, the dude could play in the NFL. But I just need him to – I don't need him to, but he needs himself and Kenny needs him to just lock into that mentality and and just try and be a dominant force every single time the ball is snapped. I hope he does well at Florida. It's a damn big risk to go to a place without a coach. But I think that was a situation where he really waited a long time. I think later down the road he might think about maybe what would it look like if I committed earlier to whether it was Bama or Ohio State or OU or something like that. But as far as Marvin Jones, my confidence is high with Marvin Jones. I have what we would call some well-placed sources that share my confidence. So I like it, and I tell you what, on those Twitter polls and everything like that his mama puts out, you guys vote. That's for sure. So Marvin's great. He's going to be great for us. I think down the road, I truly think he ends up a Sooner. Couldn't be happier about it because the dude is a monster. Dude's a monster. I mean, anytime you go head-to-head against Bama, we'll see. That's never an easy task, but I truly do think that Marvin Jones ends up a Sooner.
Yeah, and yeah, great confidence. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. Any other recruiting updates, Trav? I mean, you want to tell the people about how your visit went this weekend?
The visit was fantastic.
Since you had you as a
right.
official.
I'm all glory to God. No more interviews. I'm committing to University of Oklahoma. But yeah, I mean, it was great. The JUCO DL Jeffrey, I got to spend some time with him too. Big dude. He's massive. I think we got in on him a little bit late. Got on him a little bit late. We'll see. There's still an outside shot, but I wouldn't put my eggs in that basket. We might be looking portal or something like that. But it's a situation where you don't want to take a kid just to fill the numbers, especially with the transfer portal age. I mean, you can go get proven kids, and especially along the line. One thing I like about offensive line, defensive line, about the portal is you can get men. It's just, and that's no knock on freshmen. Like, look at any of you that are listening. How are you body type wise at 18 compared to 21 even? How were you body wise? You were different. So I think, especially with all these coaches leaving and this, that, and the other, might be a fantastic opportunity to get in the portal, get some big bodies. And I will say this as a fact, there are players that want to play with Caleb Williams across the country. We saw what Caleb did at the Sooner Summit. There are kids in this country that want to play with Caleb Williams. So I think we're going to have a very fruitful adventure into the portal this year. So, anyways, there was a lot of questions out there. But yeah, the visit was great. Got to talk with a lot of guys. David Hicks, David Hicks was shooting some hoops in the facility, and I started walking up and asking him if he talked to Porter yet, if he was going to be playing, some basketball too. And he just looked and he said, "Well, I'm a 3-sport athlete, so whatever you guys want to do." And I tell you what, he had some of the cleanest recruiting photos I'd ever seen. That one with him with the gold hat wrapped in man, that was nasty. So
filthy.
He's a good kid. There were a lot of really good 2023 kids there. That was what was exciting, was putting a name to a face, because you see on Twitter, well, everybody on Twitter has got their helmet on, or it's like an action photo or whatever. So it was cool to kind of see them. It was fun looking credential watching too, or like name tag watching, because everybody's like, they walk up and talk to you, but if they try and glance down real quick to see what your name is, they're like, "Wait, who are you?" But Malachi was in town. That's always huge. Ennis was in town. It's always huge. And Malachi, I'll tell you what. We talk about Caleb's personality and his personality when it comes to recruiting, and he got what's that, Christian? We got the Sooner Summit, or he got the Sooner Summit put together, and now he's recruiting guys through the portal across the country. Malachi is stepping it up even more. Pun intended, I guess. I didn't realize I did that. But DeAndre Moore, as in stepping it up more, as in DeAndre Moore, I think you all remember, he was going to school in Las Vegas. Well, he was. And then Malachi Nelson got in his ear and was like, "Hey, dog, I'm going to OU, and my buddy Makai Lemon is going to OU. We're both 5 stars. How about you just transfer to my high school, commit to OU like you're going to anyways, and then we'll all start playing together and get our chemistry right. So when we show up in Norman, can you imagine how crazy that conversation is? Imagine you telling your parents in high school, "Hey, so I've been talking to this quarterback, and he wants me to come play with him." They say, all right, cool. Is he? Does he go to a different school? No, we've got to move to California,
Where was he at?
Vegas.
Vegas. Still.
So we got to move. We got to move to California.
Moved to LA.
So they moved to Los Alamitos, and now exactly business decision. So that's the thing, and Malachi gets it. I talked to Luke Haas about Malachi, and he goes, dude, when the initial rankings came out, Malachi hit me up on Twitter and was like, hey, and he just wanted to get to know me, get to know what I was about, what I was into and whatnot. And then way later, he said he never even talked about OU during recruitment. And then once he committed, he was like, hey, Luke, you gonna come on? Or Luke, I'm in the boat, whatnot. So it's interesting because he did that to top targets across the country. He wants to stay in touch with them, much like the Caleb model. You stay in touch with a lot of these high-end targets. Maybe some of them are playing on a team whose coach gets fired. Maybe some of them, I don't know. Maybe some of them just get behind a guy that they can't get off the field somehow. Maybe they, whatever. There's a million reasons where somebody might look for some different scenery down the road. And Malachi Nelson is going to know all of them and have their contact information and be in their ear.
Yeah, that's big time though to have quarterbacks like that, especially in not back to back, but 2021 and 2023.
Well, that's why the 2022 is so important. With that's why the 2022. We talk about why we didn't hold on to these wide receivers. It's very important to have a quarterback in your class. Just simply with recruiting. So, I think that the Malachi's understanding of the recruiting process is going to pay dividends, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's what you want out of your quarterbacks. And real quick, the argument that I have with Texas fans all the time, because they, obviously their quarterback that they playing was a 5-star. I think he got bumped down to a 4-star. I forgot what his name even was. Malik. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not a bad or not a good quarterback, but I don't think he's as good as they think he is. But then they're also saying we're going to be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, and I'm like, look, y'all are new to this. That's not really how
then they said that Quinn Ewers is going to transfer to him. Somehow they're going to have Malik, Arch Manning, and Quinn Ewers.
You see why we do what we do with it? Like they don't make sense. They don't make sense. That's why I say it don't work like that. And that's why I was saying, y'all think Malik is the savior. You can't think Malik is the savior.
And want 2 other quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. Because one's going to transfer. So you got to choose one, dog. If you want Arch, I would Lincoln wouldn't even talk to Malik then. It's just the truth, right? It's what happens. And it's why we're on the run. We're on the quarterbacks. And obviously the success that Lincoln has had. Yeah,
Sean, the DB and safety recruits, you're looking at some big time. We've been in the top 10, top 5 this last week. I think we were announced in some top 10s and top 5s, and I think, I think we're gonna land a few of them. I think as we get our type, kind of our bigger bodied guys, I think once you see that type succeeding, and I fully expect Gentry and RSJ and Jaden Rowe, especially these big bodies, they're gonna do just fine. I think they're gonna do really well. A guy that you want in, and I think I talk about this every week, a guy that I want in that 2023 class, damn near more than anybody on defense, is Micah Tease.
Yes.
Micah, that boy, he is a natural football player. He is a natural football player and a natural leader. So I think he wasn't at the game this weekend. He was actually in Alabama. One of the reasons he took his Bama visit was to see his buddy Miles Slusher, who plays for Arkansas. So Arkansas and Bama played, obviously. So that was part of the visit. He wanted to go down and check out his boy. So, but sorry, I'm reading the comments again. I get distracted by all those comments.
Like, he found the comments like pot of gold.
I know, man. It's wild.
Hey, let's do the score prediction real quick. We got Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, obviously this weekend.
Hey, see you guys. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah.
Tell Tyson we said what's up.
Yes, sir. At 6:30 p.m. Central Time this Saturday night, in Stillwater prime time, number 10 versus number 7. Trav, what's the score prediction, dog?
Man, you have to call it close. I mean, because you have no evidence to the contrary. So
yeah.
I think I'm going. But I don't see us being that. I'm going 17-13.
Ooh, Big Ten game.
Yeah, that's right. 17-13. That's what I'm going with. Lock it in.
17.
Because I seemed really confident about it. So definitely put all your money there.
17-13. I'll put a couple scores up from you guys as we scroll along. 24-17.
24-17 has been a common guess of mine all year, and I don't know if we've had any.
27-17.
OSU, Christian, man, get out of here.
Wow, 42. I don't know.
Dustin.
That's going back to 2015, 2016. Woo. I'm probably going to
Dustin, if we win 42-14, I'm going to Venmo you for a beer.
Facts. I probably land somewhere in this area. I'm going to go same score a la this past weekend, 28-21. I think Oklahoma's going to get it done. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game. I don't think that even if Oklahoma State wins, I don't think it's going to be a 2-score game. I think it'll be close all the way. Now, here's what I will say: it can either be close or I don't want to say we're going to get blown out, but
I don't think Spencer Sanders can blow us out.
I agree. That's what I was saying. I don't think they can score that much, and I don't think our offense is going to be so inept that they allow Spencer Sanders to have 14, 21 points, whatever, unless we throw pick sixes or something like that. Other than that, Spencer Sanders, I don't think he's going to be able to move the ball against us with his arm. Now, obviously, he's dual threat. He can move. Jalen Warren, the running back, that guy's pretty good. He's not really a home run hitter, though.
But look at what we've done against running backs. I mean,
that's true. I mean, we held Breece Hall to 50 yards?
Yeah. Breece Hall's best moment was a catch, a one-handed snag that was insane.
I will say they didn't run a lot. They didn't run that much. They tried to pass a lot, which is interesting.
Well, when they tried to get some screens going and all that kind of stuff, they tried to. A lot of those you can say they're in the run game, but yeah. Hopefully Burkett is fine. I mean, I'm about to sacrifice a burrito on Saturday morning to see if that helps. Should I do that? Maybe I'll make a burrito here and sacrifice it to the kicking gods.
So that finally
I'll do it outside. I'll do it outside one of the restaurants. I'll get a big burrito and I'll sacrifice it. We'll do a whole ritual just to give a burrito back to the kicking gods after they were robbed of one when Gabe smoked one.
He just gotta get his mojo back. I think he'll be fine. I mean,
I'll tell you what though. If any of you fools are in those Instagram comments, you should be ashamed of yourself.
What they say?
It's insane, man. Like, I don't know how people are so miserable. I truly have no idea. I have no idea how these people live their daily lives. I go in, I'm on Instagram, and they announced the Lou Groza candidate finalists, and there's 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And Gabe's one.
People were mad,
oh, my God. OU fans are in there and be like, man, this guy sucks. You know, this guy's a loser. All this stuff. I'm like, dog, there are multiple Burkich for Heisman Twitter accounts. And all of a sudden, he missed a couple field goals.
Y'all want to trip.
And y'all are telling this man that he sucks online. Like, who? What? How miserable are you?
Iowa State field goal wasn't his fault either. It was a bad hold.
Like, how miserable are you that you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a piece of my mind after I just kissed his ass for 8 weeks.
I mean, it's the same. It's
just fans. Crazy, man.
It's the same fans that think Lincoln needs to be gone. Or that said, I'm fine if he goes to LSU. Just same fans that are being loud when Baker's on offense. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny to me. Like, I read him and I was like, I scrolled and I was like, oh man, that guy's a dick. And then like I scrolled again, I'm like, oh that guy's a dick too. And then I was like, my God.
They're just,
I was like, woof. I was ridiculous. Like, if idiots could fly, this comment section would be an airport. It was ridiculous.
Oh man. Hey, let's move on to questions as we wrap up here. There's one I wanted to answer real quick. That's at the top. No, they're not. Their offensive line is not good. Iowa State was okay, and they'd only given up 12 sacks all year. We had 7 on them. If our defensive line plays anything like they did Saturday, it's gonna be a long day with Spencer Sanders. Last year.
If our defense plays anyway, our defensive line plays like they did last week, I don't know if there's a team in the country that wants to see that. I mean, they played with their hair on fire.
Poor Brock Purdy was running for his life, bro. Jalen Redmond was chasing that guy down like he was, man. Let me see. Let's see. Pump that sunshine. That's right. Pump sunshine pumpers over here. You already know. Sunshine Pumper Club.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Sunshine pumpers all day, bro. About to get a shirt made.
All right, so any questions before we head out? We got about 5 or so minutes before we head out. Do they have top-rated receivers? I mean, their receivers are decent. Tay Martin, the guy that made the comment that he made.
He's talking a little bit too big for his britches.
Too big. He's good, but he's not. I mean,
he's talking on the side of his neck.
No. He's not the type of receiver. He's a freshman.
Here's the thing. When in the past we've talked, does OSU have top receivers? He doesn't. They don't have the receivers of past days. They don't have Des Bryant.
They don't have Des Bryant.
They don't have Justin Blackman. They don't have Rashawn Woods.
Yeah.
They don't have these guys. So when you say, do they have top-rated receivers? Not by OSU standards, by any means.
Yeah. Can you predict what our rushing yards look like? I mean, I think we're going to have 100, 130.
220.
Ooh, 220. I'm going on the lower side because their rushing defense is good.
220. Caleb's going to bust a long one like he does every couple games.
Sure.
I mean, you look at our rushing yards last game. You look up, all of a sudden, we've had the ball for 47 seconds. You know, we've had 1 first down, and we got 7 points. And then you look at the rushing yards. You're like, oh damn, we had 80 yards rushing on that first drive. That's weird. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Caleb rushed one for 75 yards. You know what I mean? Whatever. So it's a situation where I think we use it to get the clock. I do think we see Marcus Major this week because I think he should be over the flu entirely. But
they don't want to see that.
And as far as the Kolar-like catching threat, I want to be clear. For some odd reason, there's no Kolar-like catching threat in the Big 12 outside of Kolar. He's had our number.
Stogner should be.
Yeah, he's had our number since he arrived there. And of course, everybody wants to bring up, he's from Norman. His parents taught at OU, all this stuff. But I don't know what it is about that guy, but I don't know if it's the Norman football gods not allowing their forgotten son to be covered or something, but
something. Saturday.
Kolar's always given us trouble more than any other tight ends in the
Grable helped with that. He was lost on him. I don't know what he was doing. The last drive when they were driving up the field, just Kolar.
I tweeted out. I was like, please double Kolar. I don't care. And what's crazy is right after that, not that they watch my tweets, but right after that, they doubled Kolar. Then he overthrew the other tight end, and
which is hard because he's 6'7".
Yeah, exactly.
So he was open, but so whatever. But we figured it out. Let me see. Any other questions, y'all? Yeah, I mean, their running backs are decent. They're not anything special. They're not as good as Chuba was. But again, they figured out a way to have really do well with the zone running scheme. And so I think that's something that the zone running scheme in particular that our defense is built to kind of destroy because we're supposed to be speed D. We're supposed to be able to penetrate and get upfield. And that's what destroys zone running schemes. I mean, you can get through, right, those guards and those tackles or even that guard in the center that are trying to get up and climb. You can get through there and get a tackle in the backfield for a 3 or 4 yard loss. That's what kills that stuff. So we're going to have to see that from our defensive line specifically.
He's been better, but that means he's been average.
Yeah.
Because he was a turnover machine. I mean, turnover machine. So when you say, has he been better lately? Yes, but Spencer Sanders being better doesn't mean that Spencer Sanders has been elite by any means. Okay, now we got the questions coming in. lightning round. What performance do you think we see from Caleb this week? I think he gets the ball out quicker.
Yep.
I think he's a smart kid. I think Lincoln's a smart coach.
Yep.
He can look at film and say, hey, man, you got to get rid of the ball quicker. I think he stops doing the sidestepping runs. I think he runs downhill. I think sometimes he tries to
be patient
to maneuver his runs and get sideways and do this, that, and the other. Again, I almost caught myself in my hindsight's 2020 catch, because if he goes sideways and it works, then it was finesse. Yeah. If he goes sideways and it doesn't, then he wasn't running downhill, right? I almost caught myself. So, but I think Caleb will be great. I think it'll be the second time that he rips the heart out of somebody's chest right through an orange shirt.
Yes.
As we saw in Dallas.
I mean, yes and no. Like OSU's defense is good. So
OSU's defense is the best defense we'll have faced.
I mean, they're a legitimate top 5 defense. So like they're going to have our number on some drives. You have to get used to that and don't automatically think that we're struggling if that happens. But it's just it might happen because they're a good defense. However, I think that we're going to be able to do some good things.
I think we'll be able to do some things, but it would be disingenuous to think that it's the best defense we've played and we're just going to run roughshod over them. So, with that being said, I don't think we need a big win necessarily to jump Notre Dame and Baylor, because if we beat OSU twice and we're a conference champion, Baylor never even sniffed the conference championship. And if we win this week, Baylor's not going to be in the conference championship. Notre Dame doesn't even have one. So we still have ability to, if you have back-to-back top 10-ish wins, if we beat them, they'll probably drop to 10. Top 10-ish wins, one being a conference championship game, then we ain't got to worry about that. I don't think they're saying Spencer should start.
I don't know who said that.
I think what you're reading is that people say that he should play a little bit. Throw him in a little bit.
I think this is a Jaden Hazelwood game.
Yeah, see, it's interesting because I think he makes the biggest impact because I think he's going to come up with some big blocks in the run game.
Yeah.
He really does everything. I think he's going to come up with some big blocks in the run game. I think it'll be interesting because Jaden's best game, remember, he had 3 touchdowns in the red zone. Well, now we're saying, no, we want you to run in the red zone. Okay, well, if you want us to run in the red zone so badly, then maybe Jaden doesn't have the impact that he might have than if he throws in the end zone. He's still an incredible receiver. He can do it all over the field. But I do think, man, I think that we're going to hit Mims for a couple deep ones, to be honest. It's so hard to tell. See, this is the argument we got in earlier, right? This team doesn't have an obvious 1 and 2. It simply doesn't. So in years past where we had CD and Hollywood or something like that, it was obvious, like those 2 guys are going to lead your receiving core every week. But I mean, I could sit here and make an argument for Mario Williams because he's been a shoelace away from busting some crazy plays. Yep. I could make an argument for Mims. I could make an argument for Jay. I could make an argument for Mike Woods. I could make an argument with Theo coming back in the fold. You know, I could make an argument with so many, and I think I could convince a couple people of those arguments. But you never sat on a team with Hollywood and CD and said, "Oh man, our 4th receiver is going to be the guy," right? You never said that. But with this team, you truly can, because we just have talent all over the place. We really have talent all over the place. It's absurd. Let's see. Receiver. There we go. I am going to the game.
I will be on my way back to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
but I'm watching.
I will be there live and direct from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Stillwater.
Oh, did I say Stillwater? I meant Stillwater. I'm not mad. Is Stu's back Saturday? I think so.
You got the flu?
Yeah. Theo, we should be back.
Drake is going to be back.
Let's go ahead and Caleb was missing Drake though. Drake back. Yeah, I can see that. It could be with Weston. I do feel. Thank you, Kendall. I do feel that there is a possible avalanche effect if we get Spencer to cough it up early, if we score early, if we get out to a big lead, because I simply don't think the OSU offense is built to come from behind.
They're not.
So
if Spencer Sanders has to throw the ball,
it reminds me of it. Oh man, it was an Iowa game I was watching back in like
Oh, man.
04, and I remember the announcer saying, saying they were up like 7 points on a team they shouldn't have been up. I think it was like Iowa and Michigan or something like that. And it said the announcer just flat out goes, "Well, they better not get behind because this isn't an offense that's built to come from behind." And then the announcer goes, "Well, let's be honest. This offense isn't even an offense that's built to come from ahead either." Like they're just dogging this offense, and I was like, "Oh, that's so brutal." So anytime I say a team's not built to come from behind, that's what I think of is that damn Iowa game back in the day. That was such a great.
We want Spencer Sanders to throw the ball more than 25 times. That is going to be your ideal recipe for success if you're the Oklahoma defense. And so, look, Oklahoma State, as good as they are, they're vulnerable too. Okay, like they also haven't played the best offenses. I will say that too. They're legit. I'm not trying to wash that out, but like people have scored on them. Texas scored on them in the first half because they're a first half team, right? They couldn't get anything going in the second half. Oklahoma State settled in at the same time. Texas shot themselves in the foot too. So there's opportunity, right? Don't act like all hope is lost. We're never supposed to act like that when it comes to Oklahoma State. I don't care how good we think they are, to be honest. We're 10-1. We got to act like it, even if we
that's what
playing like
Mays was talking about that on his show, and I love Sam. Man, he does a great job, and he said OU, played well against. I forget what two teams he mentioned, but obviously Western Carolina was one of them, and I think he mentioned Tech maybe. And he's like, other than that, they've played like hot garbage. And I'm like, that's again going back to standards. We have allegedly played like hot garbage. Then what did the 10 teams we beat play like?
Right.
If we played like hot garbage, then I don't want to know. Did they boil their garbage or something? I don't know, something. But that's the thing. It's just the standards are different, so it's easy for people to say, "Oh man, y'all played awful." Well, then what about the 10 teams we beat? How'd they play? I guess they must have played worse. But yes, I'm glad Oklahoma State is talking all that noise as well. Biggest impact on defense, man. I feel like Key Lawrence finna have a game. Good things happen when he's out there, man. Really good things happen. He's a playmaker. Obviously, my next choice would be Redmond for me. Simply because he's different. He was great in 2019, like great, but he's just different now, man. And
big, fast.
There's a little bit of shine now. He's like, "Oh man, I scored a touchdown. Let's go!" Like I want to do that again.
And this is going to be his first Bedlam.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is going to be his first Bedlam. So
when people say, "Hey," like, I mean, I talked to Pat about it after he returned that 2-point conversion. He was like, "Dog, I haven't been in the end zone since high school because I played defense, and it's just I played safety, so it's not like you get a lot of the easy pick sixes, on slant or on quick outs or anything." He's like, "Dude, it's I don't know. It's he's tasted that end zone, and I think he's going to do everything he can to try and get back in it." So, I think we have any.
Looks like that might be it.
Yeah, if Perrion puts a hit on Sanders like he did on Purdy, then Sanders ain't getting up.
Nope.
Purdy is sturdy.
Ronnie threw him out of the game last year. He slammed him down and cussed that man.
Yeah.
Look out for Perrion, dude. The same thing potentially, but yeah.
All right.
Well,
I appreciate everybody tuning in.
It's been fun.
It was a good show.
Good to be
here. Absolutely.
In person.
Absolutely, man. Somebody messaged me after they left on Twitter saying, "Man, great food. So excited I came out. I was like, man, you come up and say hi."
Yeah.
But
come on, stay for the show.
If any of you all are ever seeing us record a podcast, just come up, say hi, whatever. Like, we don't care. Like, it's cool. But it's going to be awkward because I usually film most of these in my kitchen. So if you're in my kitchen, you can come say hi on the podcast, but I'm going to have a lot of questions for you as to how you got in my house.
Here with me too.
That's right.
She's the one that's been working hard, carrying the firstborn.
Exactly.
So, babe, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to say 21-17.
21-17.
Oklahoma.
Well,
Yeah,
you never
well,
know.
good.
You got to
She
say it.
Good. She can get a ride back now.
Yeah.
21-17.
21-17 Oklahoma.
But
All right. Well.
all right. Well, thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Share this even afterwards, after this goes live and everything like that. Once it posts to the page, share it. Just say, hey, this is what we did Tuesday night. This is what we did. Just share it to the page. You know, that always helps out. It's always more fun when we get even more people in here. You know, we get to, you know, interact and engage. And it's way more fun for everybody the more people. This isn't a situation where we're trying to boost up our numbers to become this crazy show or whatever. It's just more fun when more people are here. So
we like talking football. That's what it's about.
This is basically what we do on Twitter all day, but we don't have to type as much and there's no character limit.
Facts.
So hit the like. Awesome. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
Boomer.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. Drive safe if you're traveling.
Yes, sir.